Welcome to 10-Minute Spanish, where we present clear, concise lessons of 10 minutes or less to help you improve your practical language skills and increase your knowledge of the Spanish language. Today we'll be discussing the pronunciation of two diphthongs that English speakers often mispronounce, EU and UE. These two diphthongs don't seem like they should cause problems, and most Spanish students sincerely believe that they pronounce them correctly. But the fact is that most students mispronounce them at least some of the time. Fortunately, learning how to pronounce them correctly is within the grasp of anyone who is willing to invest a little thought and practice. Let's get started. The EU diphthong is pronounced as the single syllable eu. While it seems this sound combination shouldn't be too difficult for English speakers to produce, I don't believe this exact diphthong exists in English, and consequently it takes some attention and effort for us to consistently get it right in Spanish. By far the most frequent mistake we make is to separate the vowel sounds into two distinct syllables, eu, instead of pronouncing them as a single syllable, eu. Let's look at some examples of Spanish words with the EU diphthong and compare how they're sometimes pronounced with the correct pronunciation. Observe that in the incorrect pronunciation, the diphthong is separated into two syllables, while in the correct pronunciation, the diphthong is pronounced as a single syllable. Europa, 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 Europeo, 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 Europeo. Reunión, 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 reunión. This is a very important word that is used in education, business, religion, and many other contexts, and it's mispronounced by virtually every native English speaker, even when they speak otherwise excellent Spanish. Beginners say reunión with a heavy English accent. More advanced speakers say reunión, which is much better, but still suffers from the problem of dividing the diphthong into two syllables. The correct pronunciation is reunión, with the EU diphthong as a single syllable. Reunir, 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 reunir. This verb is an interesting case, because the EU diphthong is a true single syllable in the infinitive form of the verb, and most of its conjugations. But in some of the present tense and command forms, the diphthong is broken into two syllables. For example, the third-person singular present tense conjugation is reúne. Notice how when the diphthong is broken up, there is an accent mark over the U. But still, in the infinitive form and in most of the conjugations, EU is a single-syllable diphthong, reunir. Deuda, 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 deuda. This is one where I've even heard students say deuda. It's not deuda or deuda, but deuda. Neutral, 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 neutral. Eugenio, 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 Eugenio. As native speakers of English, there's a very simple thing we can keep in mind that may help us pronounce this diphthong better. In authentic Spanish pronunciation, the U sound in the EU diphthong is weakened or shortened just a bit, and ends up being pronounced more like the consonant sound w than the vowel sound oo. See if you find it easier to pronounce these words correctly when you imagine that they're written with a W in place of the U. Europa, europeo, reunión, reunir, deuda, neutral, Eugenio. I find that it helps me. Maybe it will help you too. Now, in the interest of time, I've only gone over a few examples of the EU diphthong, but please understand that the same principles apply in any example you could think of. The EU diphthong is a single syllable. The emphasis falls on the E, and the U is pronounced more like a W than an oo. Eu. Okay, let's move on to the UE diphthong. UE is pronounced as the single syllable we. The most common mistake made by English speakers is to change the vowel quality of the E. Instead of pronouncing the diphthong we tend to pronounce it like the English word way. Let's look at some examples of Spanish words with a UE diphthong and compare how students sometimes pronounce them with the correct pronunciation. Bueno, 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 bueno. Puedo, 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 puedo. Abuelo, 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 abuelo. Juego, 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 juego. I don't really have a simple trick I can recommend for correcting this mispronunciation. Just keep in mind that the UE combination is not pronounced way, but we. Not bueno, but bueno. There are a few extremely common UE words where English speakers also tend to insert a completely unnecessary schwa sound before the diphthong. Examples include luego and nuevo. Luego isn't a particularly tricky combination of sounds. I just think there's something about pronouncing a w sound after an l sound that makes us feel like we need to insert a schwa in there, luego. But that's not how Spanish speakers pronounce it. Let's repeat this word a few times, comparing the common mispronunciation with the correct pronunciation. Luego, 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 luego. Notice that the mispronunciation is 3 syllables, luego, while the correct pronunciation is only 2, luego. So the common Spanish farewell, hasta luego, is just 2 syllables per word, hasta luego, not as English speakers often pronounce it, hasta luego. The word nuevo is exactly the same situation. English speakers seem to want to insert a schwa after the N. Let's repeat this word a few times, comparing the mispronunciation with the correct pronunciation. Nuevo, 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 nuevo. The last case we'll look at is prueba. Now this particular combination of sounds is fairly tricky for English-speaking mouths to produce. It's got the soft Spanish P, the simple flapped R, and then the UE diphthong. Not easy. Most of us find that we can make it easier for ourselves by separating the U and E rather than pronouncing them together. So we wrongly say prueba rather than the correct pronunciation, which is prueba. Let's repeat this word a few times, comparing the common mispronunciation with the correct pronunciation. Prueba, 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 prueba. Another thing some of us do with this word is eliminate the U sound and pronounce the word preba. If anything, that's worse. Again, I find that it's useful to think of the U in UE combinations as a W, and this helps me pronounce all of these words more accurately. Bueno, puedo, abuelo, juego, luego, nuevo, and especially prueba. Again, I've only gone over a few examples of the UE diphthong, but the same principles apply in any example you could think of. The UE diphthong is pronounced we rather than way, and it's a single syllable. All right, this has been our discussion of the EU and UE diphthongs. I hope you've learned something that will help you improve your day-to-day language skills.